here today. Thank you so much for making the time to come and spend this 45 minutes or so with me today. For those of you I haven't connected with, my name isn't StellaMuse. My name's Elise Carr. StellaMuse is my business baby. So if you want to chat with me, you're going to call me Stella, but Elise is cool too. Before we kind of dive into a bit of a tantric, authentic, when I say tantric journey, I did want to do just a short alignment visualization to get us here in body, heart, mind, and ideally something of high consciousness that I'm going to refer to as your soul today. So if you have anything in your lap that you don't need in this very moment, even if it's a cup of tea or your notepad or phone or any of that jazz, pop it down. Get yourself comfy. You might want to uncross your legs and arms. We do that for energy for the record. Can everyone hear me okay? Turn it up. Can we please turn up a little bit, lovely music ladies? So we're going to do what's called a connection with the oversoul. This is actually an esoteric visualization. I'll explain a little bit about that later. You don't need to think too much about it. I'm going to guide you through it. We're going to om together. If you're not an outward ommer, you don't want to be omming in public, that's cool, don't. Do it in your mind's eye. There's no judgment here. If you do want to om with me, I'll be going with you. We're going to do 5 oms together collectively. What we're going to do first is close our eyes down if you're brave enough. And I want you to bring your awareness into this beautiful pool of light above all of us. And this pool of light is called the oversoul. This pool of light is where all souls unite, where your soul is connected to. And we're going to imagine at one point that there's a silver thread that anchors down from that place, first of all into your mind's eye, and radiates out. That silver thread is going to then extend down into your heart, anchor in there, and radiate out. And finally, we're going to visualize that silver thread extending down to the base of your spine, connecting there, and anchoring out. Now at each of these points, from that beautiful light of the oversoul, into our mind, into our heart, into the base of our spine, and then one unifying om, we have our 5 points of om. Oversoul, mind, heart, base of spine, one unifying om. So together, if you want to bring your awareness back now to that light of the oversoul, let go of your last breath, and let's inhale for om. Those 3 anchor points, base of your spine, your heart, your mind, actually connect take you to your 3 lower vehicles. We call those 3 lower vehicles your personality. That's what we call them in esoteric psychology. In orthodox psychology, it's part of your ego nature. We're going to be exploring a little bit of this lower nature and then your higher nature, your soul, today, and this kind of primal / divine connection we have. So if you're slowly opening your eyes and coming back to me now, swallow, lick your lips, do whatever you need to do to get present. If you need to pick up that drink or notepad or whatever it is, please do so. I'm gathering everyone has their phones on silent or flight mode. It's always much appreciated. So I'm going to now talk to you about some of the ancient wisdom of Tantra, and then we're going to do some guided visualization for you to kind of feel a little bit. So we are on chairs, most of us, or seated. We're not going to be jumping up and down and around the room today in this setup. But I like to think you'll still have a little bit of a journey. I will save some time at the end for some Q&A, and if I can't get to everyone in the time frame, I'm going to be in the tea garden reading some Rilke after. If you want to join me for some Pulka and Rilke, it'd be cool. So questions at the end if that's cool. And also, if you'd like the audio from this and the guided practice that we're going to be doing and the questions I'm going to be offering you to muse upon, you can pop your email and name on the sheets at the front here, and I'll be more than happy to send that to you within the coming days. So we're here today to talk about rediscovering the essence of Tantra. Most people think Tantra is sex and sexual energy and pleasure and feeling good. And that sounds great, doesn't it? Don't all speak to me at once unless you're all taking vows of silence. I'm here to tell you that that's actually not what Tantra is about. So I might be bursting a few bubbles today because no one's going to leave here having an orgasm. I'm sorry about that. If you do though, that's amazing. Let me know how it happened, because I'm really interested to know if I can weave it into other events I do. Why not, right? So Tantra either comes from Hinduism or Buddhism. And when it comes to the West has pretty much taken Shaktiism, the worship of Shakti being goddess, female kind of things, pleasure, form, body, orgasm, and literally sexualized it in every way it can. Why? Because this makes more money, and pretty much everyone likes pleasure. Anyone here can't stand pleasure? Anyone? Anyone at all? No, that's what I thought. So that's how it works. We've kind of become part of this commercialized machine, and unfortunately because of that, we've then lost the essence of Tantra. We've lost the science, we've lost the art. So I want to make sure that you understand what we're seeing often in the West is known as glamours. Glamours or illusions, they're kind of like fog that blind us from what's really there. Because if you scratch the surface of something that's beautiful and shiny and alluring, you'll realise that what on the outside looked amazing looks very different on the other side. A bit like washing makeup off, or washing the dirt off your car. Whatever it is, a lot of the West is the glamour, not the truth. And it's important to me in all my teachings and when I work with women and men and couples and speak, that I don't just give you some of the pretty shiny stuff. Sure, I can come up here and tell you how to have multiple orgasms, but it's not Tantra. So I trust you're brave enough to come with me and know that what I want to share with you is authentic, because to me that's the greatest gift I can do, is actually share, even if it's only one drop of the essence of something that's real. It's much more powerful than giving you a whole bag of sprinkles of something that will make you feel good for a very brief moment but won't last in the long run or help you in life. So Tantra is more complicated than we can imagine. Tantra is symbols. Tantra is your mind. Tantra is sound. It's mental control. It is everything that we can imagine all around us, harnessing the forces of nature to essentially speed up that evolutionary process. Our consciousness. The actual word Tantra means to weave, to expand consciousness. So we're going to weave all parts of ourselves. We're in a physical body, having a physical experience, so we don't ignore that. That means we have sex organs. We don't ignore that. We also have emotions. We have feelings. We have thoughts. But as we kind of touched on in that alignment process, we also have something greater than that connection to something more, that highest form of consciousness. That is what we're striving to connect with. Not stay down here playing in the kiddie paddle pool of how many orgasms and how many partners can I have in a short space of time. Is that okay? If you choose it's okay and you're harming none, go for your life. Is it a spiritual path? No. Is it Tantra? No. So we're just starting to see what's what here, and there's a nice harmony, a balance between the two if we can find them. And that's what I'd like, I guess, for you to share. So when it comes to Tantra, really, it's merging with all things. It's actually the generation of love, not the generation of pleasure, not moving sexual energy, the generation of love. And love not in the context of romantic love, love in the context of selfless service, of giving of yourself to another because you actually don't want anything in return, you just want to give to them. And organically you'll get something in return, and that is joy. Not happiness, that doesn't last, but joy. Joy is of the heart. So you're kind of starting to understand what's real, what's not, even from just what I've shared, a little bit of this distinction. You guys, you're so crazy talkative, I find it hard to concentrate. The thing is, this kind of action of what I'm talking about is about transmutation. It's about alchemy. It's about going from from lower to higher. So you might have heard about sublimation in Tantra. We're taking a primal physical experience and we're lifting it into a place of heart. And sex is a beautiful example of this if it's something that you choose to explore. Many of us do. So instead of it just being sex for the sake of 5 minutes of pleasure, and if you're lucky, 5 minutes of spooning after, if you're really lucky. Instead of that, it becomes, pleasure, but what if we lift it to a place of higher consciousness and involve the heart? What if instead of it that just being what I can get from you and becomes what I can give to you, and it can be all about you for that time? But we don't just stop there, but that can be one tiny way of shifting your consciousness, shifting your awareness, and changing an intimate experience from being a quick fix feel-good to something of an offering to a beloved, or perhaps someone you've just met that night if that's what you choose. So this is because we don't want to stay with just a climax. We don't want to stay with, like I said, just the element of spooning. We want to go so much higher. We want to get to oneness, to unity. And oneness, that word, is at the heart of Tantra. Oneness is part of the essence of Tantra. All this blending, all this weaving of every part of us is in that pursuit. So it's not the pursuit of how many partners you can have, and how many orgasms you can have, and how good it can feel as often as possible, ideally, because that's what the pleasure machine asks of us, to keep feeding it. Because have you ever noticed, no matter how much you buy, no matter how much Netflix you watch, no matter how much coffee you have, anything, promotions, partners, it's never enough. It's never enough. If it was enough, you wouldn't be here right now, because you'd be completely satisfied. We know this, right? We know nothing outside of us is enough. Yet we keep going back for more. We are slow learners at times, because we're not doing anything beyond body, beyond our emotions, and beyond our chitter-chatter mind. Tantra says, okay, that's part of your experience. You're in this form, fine. Do we stay there? No. We want you to blend and weave all of that to actually go on a spiritual journey. It's kind of like we're all in the paddle pool of the kiddies' playground, and we want to get into the big kids' pool, and eventually, actually, even if we just dip our toe, we'll go all the way in to the diving pool. And that's what I want for you. I don't want you guys to stay just paddling around in the kiddie pool, having a bit of fun, a bit of pleasure here and there. It's so limited. It's so void of heart and mind and consciousness. It's void of spirit. So it can't be tantric and it can't be spiritual. Anyone want the kiddie pool life forever? Just the pleasure stuff? No one. Interesting. So Tantra says we can take everything, anything, and turn it into light and love and evolution. But this can be dangerous. That's why Tantra can be dangerous. Because too often we just read the first bit, we just see the glamour, and we think, okay, it's just about the sex. And we go into that space, and we explore that space, and we go to Tantra practitioners, we go to circles, and we go to people who we think are going to be interested in it, and everything's about pleasure, everything's about primal, screaming, letting it out, touching people, being with each other, you name it. I've heard of everything you can imagine. And I'm sure you've heard of a few things too. If we stay here, we're disconnecting our heart, we're disconnecting our mind, we're disconnecting our soul. And we're living from this place. This is the danger. And a lot of practitioners work from this place, stay in this place, and it kind of gives them a carte blanche to not deal with their stuff. And I share this with you because maybe after this talk you're like, it's a bit banal, I just want to go out and get the sex stuff. Go for your life. But please be aware of what you're actually doing. If you are just going for the feel-good of anything, you are going to be disconnected from your whole spiritual path. So really look into the people you're going to work with if you're going to find a Tantra practitioner to help you along your spiritual path. If they're just doing primal stuff, if it's just about the body, if it's just about pleasure and feeling good, question, what is it that you're really doing here? And this is what I want you to do, to understand that it's totally fine to explore these parts of you, that we can channel it, that we can lift from this lower space to this higher space, that quick, feel-good experiences, that sex and orgasms are fine, but we want heart involved. Has anyone ever actually experienced an intimate connection with self or with a beloved and heart was involved? Yeah. Get those hands right up. Be brave. Amazing. And can you compare that to a completely disconnected sexual experience? Yeah? Yeah. Thank you. Brave woman. You know the difference. You've felt the difference. And you know ultimately what you want, but you also know what you settle for, and you know what you do on a regular basis. Right? Let's just be real. So how can we, as beings on a path that we want to be spiritual and conscious, change our experiences so we can change the experience of others? So that we can actually start to evolve together. Because Tantra isn't just about me or you or us, a couple, or this whole room. It's about humanity. It's about cosmos. It's about the entire spectrum from micro to macro. So if we have this chat here today and you go off to your beloved or perhaps someone you're spending time with, or maybe it's just you and self-pleasure right now, and actually bring some consciousness, bring some awareness into that experience, you're going to change that experience not only for yourself, but then ideally for someone else at some point too. This is how we can have a ripple out effect. This is how we can start sharing consciousness, start connecting from a place of love and presence and awareness, not just spreading STDs and disconnect and breakups via text message, right? Because we all know that goes on. Swipe left, swipe right, whatever it is, I don't know. So, to rediscover the essence of Tantra, sometimes we're going to ask ourselves some big questions. And one of the ways we work with Tantra, like I said, isn't about orgasm. It's actually often about our addictions, our habits, our default reactions, patterns, things that we do on a daily basis that actually control us. And once again, I'm going to say, let's be real. Do you have something that you do that almost you have no control over? Maybe it's checking Instagram. Yeah, I like that, Han. Brave woman. I like this. Brave women in the room today. Men, step it up. We have things we do that are of actually a lower nature, but not a higher nature, and they control us. So I want you right now to start asking yourself, what do I do that doesn't serve me? What do I do that actually I don't have any willpower to stop? Maybe it's eating. Maybe it's promiscuous sexual activity. Maybe it's drugs. Maybe it's buying too many pairs of yoga pants. Whatever it is, when we can start to kind of demystify our own ways, our own patterns, our own habits, the way we are living our life, the better we know ourselves. This is empowering. This is the doorway in for a tantric experience. Because when you can start understanding that, you know it, you can witness yourself doing it, freaking hell, there I go again, I just did that, I swear I wouldn't do it, and I just did it. You start to catch yourself in the action. You can then actually get to a point where you can stop yourself before you do it. It all takes willpower, mind, that's right, we need the mind. This is all empowering for you to understand this is where we start when it comes to Tantra. Because if you know yourself, to know thyself, as you may have heard that before, all the better you can make the changes that you need to make to live a more conscious spiritual life. This is where I want you to go. So right now, whether you want to close your eyes or keep them open, I just want you to ask yourself, what is one habit or addiction or kind of lower desire way of doing things that I have that I don't feel I have any control over? That it kind of controls me. Anything at all, big or small. Because right there you're giving your power away. Right there you're living from your primal animal nature. There's no heart or consciousness or soul working through that space. It's not spiritual. It's a default primal animal instinct. And that's just one thing. Maybe you could actually probably think of 3. And what about your default reactions? What about when someone drives you so freaking mad you want to throw a shoe or punch a wall or say something horrifically hurtful that you'd regret later on? What are your default reactions when your emotions kind of get pushed? That's primal animal nature too. We want to work with that in Tantra, to alchemize, to transmit, to lift it to a higher state of consciousness, so that people could say something or drive you bananas or cut you off or whatever it is, and you actually don't have a reaction. You can stay harmonized and centered and calm. You don't have to completely be oblivious to it. But you don't react, you respond. This is part of a tantric life, because then you're not giving your energy away. You actually would have that energy to harness it in a sexual experience, in an emotionally loving exchange. So where do you give your energy away? Are you giving it away right now in a relationship? Are you giving it away right now in the job that you're in? What about with family members or friends who aren't really friends? They just call you when they need you and you're their rock. Anyone ever been anyone's rock consistently, time and time again, and they don't want to help themselves? But also you keep being there as well. There are certain choices we make in life that take away our power, and we give it away, and it depletes us, and it takes us off our path. Be aware of how you give your power away, what controls you, your desire nature, your habits, your addictions, the patterns and cycles that you go through on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Sometimes seasonal for some people. They're a bit different in summer compared to winter. Summer, on the prowl at the beach, fake tan if they need it, getting that sexy day for tonight. Mm-hmm. So, in Tantra, we transform. If you're not transforming, you're not evolving, you're not growing on a conscious spiritual path. You can't transform if it's all about BDSM and sex and pornography. If that is it. And you've got to work ideally too. But if you're aware of your addictions and your habits and you try and lift them to a higher space, you can make changes within your life. You can change where you're at. You can actually start to become more conscious. And the way we do this, one of the ways, is setting boundaries. Anyone here know that they have really weak boundaries? They get walked over, used. Anyone ever been there? I've definitely been there. Yeah. We need to use kind of an artful way to create boundaries in our life. Boundaries and discernment. 2 of my favourite words when it comes to Tantra. And these require the mind. You don't need the yoni, female sex organs, or the lingam, male sex organs, to do this. It's the mind. And we do that mind work with heart work. And the heart work is asking questions like, is this right for me? And is this right for the greater good? Because you're not just in it for yourself, for the record. You signed up to the school of life to be a beautiful, loving, caring creature upon this earth to help others. Just thought I'd share that with you. So you want to know what's right for me and what's right for the greater good. And that's the heart work. So we have mind, wisdom, heart, love. These are blended. In fact, if you even look at the greatest masters who walk the face of the earth, the Christ and the Buddha, irrespective of the dogma and the religion attached, they spoke about love, loving one another, and also using the mind, clearing the way to let go so that we don't suffer and grip onto things. So part of the tantric path is naturally connected to some of this wisdom as well. We need you to use your mind and your heart, not just your sex organs. So if that's where everything is at, and that's all you're being taught, and the books that you read and the events that you go to, you're actually disconnecting yourself off literally from the waist down. You might as well just kind of walk with your pelvis kind of thrust forward everywhere you go, because that's all you are, just an appendage on legs. You're not like that to me. I think you're far more than that. So, like we touched on at the beginning with the alignment process, anchoring base of the spine, yeah, we acknowledge that. Heart, mind, consciousness, this is where we're going. Why? Because you're not just humans. In fact, I don't even say you're humans. You're having a human experience. You're having a human experience. You have feelings, you have emotions, you're high, you're low, you're all over the shop, you love, you hate, you know it. Your mind, chitty chatter. Here, you're probably like, do I want to stay, do I want to go? Should we get to a good point? I don't know, what's the time? Instagram, oh yeah, better do a little. So, how many thoughts have you had in the last 30 seconds? This is all that lower nature, right? So that's part of what you are. The other part of what you are is divine. And this is why you hunger for something more, and you think McDonald's is going to make you feel good, and sex is going to make you feel good, and some more yoga pants is going to make you feel good. All this external reaching, because you're so hungry for something real, but that real thing is a connection to your truth, to divinity, to soul. It's part of the reason why you're here today, because nothing else has satisfied you to this point. Perhaps that's why you're even curious about Tantra or a spiritual path. Maybe it's the yogic path or the Buddhist path or the esoteric path. They're all weaved into an essence of truth, of the ageless wisdom. Maybe it's why you found yourself in that self-help or New Age section of the bookstore at times. Or why you just like astrology for some reason. I know you Libras and Capricorns and Virgos, you. So we want to blend those two parts of us. But what that means is actually the lower nature has to relinquish its power and allow the higher nature to pull it up. So you've got to give in and let go. But you've got to use boundaries and discernment to do that. You've got to ask those questions of, is this right or isn't this right? Because there's certain things that are still going to be beckoning and calling you with their glamorous little shiny exteriors, making you want to go to that party and take XYZ and do that with that person or whatever it is. Are you honouring your truth? Are you doing what's right? Are you actually authentically living a spiritual life, or kind of 9 to 5 on the day, yeah, but on weekends you party hard? Spiritual? No. Makes you feel good and makes you think you've got like this balance going on? Yeah. Glamour. This isn't a 9 to 5 kind of Monday to Friday deal. This is a lifestyle. It's a way of life. That's what you choose. It's every choice you have. It's every thought you have. It's every feeling you have. It's every action you take. All of this is connected. That's why it's freaking big work. But they can't really sell books that say freaking big work because they wouldn't sell. So they say happiness now. Sexy in 5 minutes. 3 steps to having the perfect spiritual awakening. That stuff sells. But we've got to be real. Strip away that glamour. Understand this is work, and that's why it's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen overnight. A lot of the glamours of the tantric world are, it's all about pleasure. It's all about the orgasm. It's all about your pleasure, how you feel. Oh, it's about heart. It's all about heart, not the mind, the heart. But of course, the heart comes after the orgasm. These are glamours of the tantric world. And as we've kind of touched on today, you can understand they're not real, and they're not going to hold up for very long. They're not going to nourish you. What does nourish you? What actually makes you feel good? Does anyone know what actually makes you feel good? Is it when you read a book that actually nourishes your soul, when you have an intimate conversation with someone, maybe even a stranger? These are moments of higher consciousness, not Netflix and chill, not getting high on whatever it is. Start to understand, use your discernment, know if you're low in nature or if you're aspiring for divinity. I want you aspiring for divinity. Ideally 24/7, but I'm a hard taskmaster. You have to find what's right for you, right? So, this is the journey of a lifetime. I'm not going to kid you and say it's easy and that it's all going to happen overnight, but part of this path, part of any spiritual path, is also going to bring to you what we call dark nights of the soul. Has anyone ever had an experience where they felt very alone, lonely, whether it was depressive or anxious, where you felt no one understood you, where you didn't know where to go, who to turn to, where you were confused? Sometimes you even think you're losing your mind. You think it's a psychological issue when really it's a spiritual crisis. We call these dark nights of the soul. A dark night of the soul says night because it's a period, it's a phase, it doesn't last, although it can last for days or weeks for some people. This is part of a spiritual path. We need to sit with our stuff, question, contemplate, feel it, do our work, seek guidance from a trusted guide, professional, someone who we love and respect perhaps, and know then we can come out the other end. And on a spiritual path, tantric, Buddhist, yogic, esoteric, whatever it is, you will actually go through really dark periods. Why? Because you're questioning the shiny stuff. Because you know it's not going to last. Because, quite frankly, you don't know who you are anymore. Why the hell you're here? Why you do what you do? Why you're in the relationship you were in? All these things. Has anyone ever had big questioning moments? Because if you haven't, I hope they happen soon for you. We want to have these moments because these wake us up. They make us question. They help us use our hearts and our minds, and they make us realise we're more than just the mundane paddle pool. Yeah? So, discernment. asking questions, sitting with this, working with someone you trust, all of this is so super important along a tantric path. I want now to guide you through a journey because I probably chitter-chatted for enough. So if you're game to close those eyes again, take off things from your laps. And I want to guide you through this because, like I touched on, I don't want you to be stuck in the microcosmic when you are macrocosmic. I don't want you stuck in the hamster wheel of desire, going nowhere fast, thinking everything you already have, material things or experiences, is enough. It's never going to be satisfying or enough for you. You long to connect to something higher, to truth, to love, to wisdom, to beauty, to spirit, to cosmos. Because that's where you freaking came from, my friends. It's like longing to go home. As Ram Dass says, we're all walking each other home, right? So let's close our eyes for a little moment. Do your last little wiggles. Find your comfy space. Exhale and let it go. Take a beautiful big inhale, letting your belly expand as you do. Your ribcage expand up to your chest. Hold for a moment at the top, what feels comfortable for you. Exhale, let it go. Belly button comes in toward your spine. Inhale, belly expands, let it go, bringing that beautiful fresh oxygen all through your body. Exhale, belly button to spine, let it go. You start your journey of cosmic love by understanding you are love. And you know this deep within your being, within your core. And from here, this cosmic love expands by loving a partner, a beloved, current or future, whoever it is that comes to you now. And from here, you learn to love other people in the same kind of conscious way. Not have sex with, but love. It's about unity, not polyamory. It's about selfless giving, not pleasure seeking. In Tantra, we're taught to visualize the love you have for someone and send it to them. So I want you to bring someone you love in any capacity to your mind's eye right now. Someone you love. And I want you to feel the love you have for them, and I want you to radiate it and send it to them. Send them that love. And now extend this love to someone else. Anyone who comes to your mind. And you feel this love flowing through you like an eternal stream. And so you send it to someone else. And to someone else. And to the people beside you here in this room. And now you send that love to someone you may not particularly like. You send love to them as you would to anyone else that you love. Knowing that this love flows through you like an eternal stream. We see this technique in the Vajrayana path of Tantric Buddhism. This beautiful offering and this way of life is known as the diamond or thunderbolt vehicle of Buddhism. And the higher tantrikas, the higher monks, lamas, nuns of this way of life practice this, though they are beyond the connection of sex. Instead, they also choose to picture different deities. So you can imagine gods or goddesses, sometimes in a yab-yam, a mother-father, an interlacing pose with the feminine sitting in the masculine's lap. This is a representation of love. they visualize these to symbolize a physical connection, an emotional connection, a mental connection, and then a soul connection. It's like a glass of water, another glass of water pouring into it. Pouring together in one taste as they describe it. A merging, a mixing, a weaving, a unifying as one. Understanding this merging and weaving, extending is like the love that pours through you to all those people you visualized. This is why Tantra eventually helps us transcend the limited perspective. Because if you visualize yourself with a beloved right now, you can see you can come together as part of the universe, part of the cosmos. For anything that ends in pleasure alone misses the essence of Tantra. And now this consciousness that flows through you is the same consciousness that flows through planets, through nature, through all things. And it's what you aspire to connect with in your body, in your heart, in your mind, to the top of your crown. Like almost leaving the body behind to weave and entwine with the larger state of consciousness. This is cosmic in scope. Not just you and a lover, because that merging is just a symbol of ultimate merging. This is beyond desires being met to perfectly understanding yourself. Understanding your beloved. Understanding the forms and bodies you use can reach soul merging. Not just bodies merging, or hearts merging, or minds merging. But ideally to the merging of all souls, to a point where, as you experienced before, we all connect with the oversoul. So I want you now to bring your awareness to a loving connection with a partner right now. And this might be a current or a future partner. Bring them to your mind's eye. With the awareness that you can move sexual love to love of heart. Feel that love in your heart. And now to love of mind. And it can't stop here, or you would only love when you are intimate with another. Your beloved before you right now is just a symbol. The sexual connection is the primitive early stages, like a springboard if you choose, that can lead you to go beyond to higher states of consciousness. And so you now bring your awareness higher again to a love of humanity. And what does that look like for you? Not only one or people that you're physically attracted to, but every single sentient being, part of humanity. What does it feel like to have love for all humanity? And now what if we go even higher to love of the universe and cosmos? Of all that lives and moves and breathes, of the 10 billion light years of stars and moons and planets and vast galaxies, all the forces and energies of existence. Can you feel a love of cosmos? And as you are here now, merged as one flowing consciousness like an ever-flowing body of water, finding its way to the cosmic ocean and seas, where all comes from and all returns to. The essence of Tantra is that you merge with all life and all consciousness, that you as a cosmic droplet Return to where you came from, where you were always connected, where you will always be connected. This cosmic connection is held by the greatest force of all. It is held together by love. Love is the ultimate unifier. And now in your mind's eye and your entire being, you offer this love that we've now rediscovered and reconnected with to all other people, in the aspiration that they feel this love too. We ask in our beings, in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls, may all beings feel this love. However we feel and connect with it, may we share that with all beings. May all rediscover their innate nature, their essence, and their path to unity. Take a beautiful big inhale and hold it top at the moment. And exhale, let it go. One beautiful big inhale, one last time. Let your belly expand, lifting up to the top. And exhale, let it go. Gently crack your eyes open if they're not already. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I trust I've given you one teeny tiny drop of the potential path that Tantra might offer for you if it speaks to you. If anyone would like to reach out to me, you can at elise@StellaMuse.com or hit me up on StellaMuse.com. I do offer one-on-one women, men's and couples sessions. If I don't see you again, please have a wonderful rest of your time right here at Super Bloom Festival, and I look forward to seeing you real soon, ideally.